Oh, she says she's on, Caleb. She's waving. She's on the, I don't know, Caleb's got to tap you in. Caleb?
Yeah, she's not, I don't see her on the Zoom. Tell her to close it and then come right back in and then it'll pop up.
Okay, close it and come back in. Okay, the technology is amazing, but, we're beaming in from all different places. So anyways, I want to talk about John Phillips, who was in the Mamas and the Papas. And part of the reason why Mama Cass became the celebrity that she did, they came from the East. They started their band in the East. They ended up in Laurel Canyon. This guy had a family history that was ridiculous. I mean, a lot of trauma. And most of these people that are in this industry were traumatized, came from military families. They were anti-establishment, but they were able to make money and all become famous somehow. But I want to know about his numbers because he was quite the character. And he was also married to Michelle Phillips, who was passed around like a hot potato in the days too, and part of the that scene too. And then there's Zappa too. He was from a military family as well. Like it just, anyways, it's very dark. But what do you feel about John Phillips?
Right off the cuff, he's a life path 11, and an imbalanced 11 is very duplicitous. They play both sides of the fence. They have the public and the private persona. They're very seducere, molestation-ish energy.
Mm-hmm.
He's also,
was.
And so he's got that born in a 9 year, and that is the eat or be eaten, kill or be killed energy if you're upside down. It is funny because he has sort of a martyr victim-y energy. For me, but he doesn't let the world see that part, maybe not even behind the scenes. He acts out on it, but he pretends to be something he really isn't a lot of the times to keep getting what he wants. There's this insatiable desire, need to be in full control at all times, even when I'm out of control. Thank you. They're just saying he also is the person who needs you to behave in a certain way, and then when you do, it's not good enough. And then when you ask him point blank, what do you want? He doesn't know, but you're supposed to read his mind when he's in that kind of tailspin. And he's born on a number 3 day, which makes him charismatic, charming, gregarious, and believe it or not, an ability to connect, but only if he's going to get something out of you. Only if he's going to get something out of you.
Jeez.
I'm sure he's a good person.
No, he wasn't a good person. There was
hard
no
to
good.
say that. I'm trying to find something nice to say. He's a master life path number. And when you're a master life path number, you have to toe the line or you will get nailed to the wall, back asswards, upside down with a pig apple in your mouth.
Yeah, well, he came from a very traumatic childhood, and his mother was, just his family of origin were terrible people like that too. I'm not sure if Owen's here, but did she get back in?
I keep seeing her, but she's not, I don't see her yet.
I know, it's so weird. Okay, well, this part is, we're cock blocking the guests now.
Speaking of.
There she is. I hear her, but I don't see her.
Here I am.
Who was
Did anyone
that?
see me yet?
Hey.
Turn your camera on. We hear you, but turn your camera on.
My camera's on. Now it's off.
All right,
now it's
we
on.
can hear you.
I know. I'm thinking it's not working today. I don't know what is happening.
It's hysterical. I've never had a show go so awry in the history of our shows. It happens
I don't
a lot.
get it.
We might have a little glitch, but we can hear you. Do you have a picture of her you can just show, Caleb? So we were talking about the attributes of John Phillips, who brought your mother to Laurel Canyon, or was part of the reason she ended up there, and his family of origin, which was very traumatic, apparently. From what I've heard. And then the relationship. Oh, this is Owen's book, My Mama Cass. If you want to hear the
You can put that on
real
there,
story of Mama. Yeah. So I don't know if you heard it, but Drew's here. Drew wants to sort of voice his opinion about this whole period of time and the people that were involved. But sit down. We've been playing like.
I can't even believe the stuff that's happening.
With
It's
this,
too weird.
I know. It's like every time we bring up Sir M word,
CM.
you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
The internet goes down. So he has some kind of control over us. But I was talking about John Phillips, and we were listening to his backstory last night. And
Keep going.
listening to his backstory last night, and what was your takeaway from his family of origin?
Lots of mental illness, lots of psychopathology, lots of criminality.
Yes.
Lots of sort of. I mean, it's unusual to hear multi. Who's got a doggy?
Owen.
Sorry,
Owen.
it's my ridiculous dogs. I'm going to put them on mute. Hold on.
And Owen, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the criminality went back 3 generations, and that was I'm not used to seeing that. Usually,
No, it was impressive.
Yeah, it
really
was
impressive.
extraordinary.
It
We're
was
like, wait a minute, is that
incest
the
and rapes and murders and like women missing and drugs and more incest and more drugs and rape and just the common stuff in a family.
It's a sordid
everybody's
tale.
family,
It's
Ellen.
a sordid tale. It really is.
But
It's
were you
not
aware that
good.
I was aware of what Mackenzie was dealing with, but I didn't know it was literally three generations back.
Yeah. So So
I
was listening to
I
that.
wasn't aware of it either. When I finally read his biography, it gave me some indication as to what had caused him to be the way he was.
Right? Yes, that's
I thought,
what I thought
God,
too.
No
It's like,
wonder he's such a.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, and not only that, it when you read that history, you stop going, God, did he really? Was he really?
Yeah.
Now you're like, he's like the rest of his family. Oh, he did do those things.
And when
He
Mackenzie
did.
came out with it and was open,
Yeah.
yeah, he was insane. But he also was a part of this whole Manson world. And I said the word again.
But
How dare you.
one
I don't
thing
wanna
I
bring it
wanted
up.
to
It's
say,
gonna
I
shut
feel like
the-
I needed to say one more thing about John before we move on.
Yeah.
I think if you look at, obviously the history is sordid with the alcoholism and all of that. If you couple that with the fact that people in that period of time never talked about their feelings. Nobody ever processed anything. Nobody ever, got better ever. They didn't
and they
know
were also
how.
never right. Forget talk about feelings. They weren't even identified as
Right.
something that has a treatment or should be changed. It's just
Correct.
like, oh, that's Grandpa, the bank robber. Okay.
Yeah.
Or that's Grandpa, the
Grandpa the
drunk.
Buster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because it was their identity rather than anything that needed work.
Yes,
Right. So he
exactly.
was a life path 11, though, which is supposed to be, I think you're an 11. Isn't Drew an 11?
9.
Oh, he's a 9. Okay. We've met a couple of 11s, and they're, that's, I guess, the pinnacle. You want to be the 11, but he wasn't good. It was used for good.
11, 22, and 33. Yeah, there's the da-da-da. But he's, very duplicitous. And so this is perfect to ask you, aren't all children born obviously connected to spirit, empathic, sensitive?
Yes.
And then this is so your field, but when they get to a certain point, if they grow up in a childhood like this, they still have the choice. Am I going to continue to be an empathic, kind person or am I going to?
Yeah, it's not that clear I'm going to be empathic or not. It's just things either go good or they go very bad.
Okay.
They go one of two ways.
To survive.
It's a survival thing.
Okay.
And even when it goes good, the child carries a lot with them. It just ends good. You know?
That's okay.
Yeah.
And that would be the strength with the 11, born in a 9-year, but he's got that multiple personality 3 in there. A great performer. I'm not going to show you what's going on behind me because I'm going to seduce you into it.
Right. The narcissism really comes out. So I just noticed that Michelle Phillips was born June 4th, 1944. June 4th happens to be my father's birthday. But those are good numbers. There's lots of 4s. So, and I'm just curious, like she's actually still alive. God bless her.
Yes,
but she was a part of this scene, and
Caleb is flashing something up on the screen too.
I know, but we lost a half hour of the show. Okay, so we have to go a little long today. But where did she land on your numerology chart there for her personality and her?
She's life path 1. So leadership. But she's also born in a 9-year, just like the gentleman we just spoke about. So there's the compatibility and the connectability. But then she's born on the 4. It's a real desire for fairness, law and order. And this year, she's a number 1. So she's booked in with leadership, but I feel like she holds her cards close to her chest. Mm-hmm. Probably had to, learn to have to. But a 4 will either continue to make it fair for everybody or flip the switch where it's fair for them and nobody else to make up for lost experiences. Weird. But I don't get a bad vibe with her. I like her energy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yay, a positive one, and she's still alive, which is miraculous in Laurel Canyon.
It's not
world.
miraculous. She was like 11 when she was in the group. How is that miraculous?
Yeah, that's
Everybody else
right.
was much older.
That's right.
I mean, come on.
That's right. She got
Do the
married.
math.
And this was the general note.
No, I don't mean because of age. I mean, she didn't die of drug addiction. She didn't get murdered. She didn't commit suicide. Like, it's a common thread in that area.
And when she was not 11, she was 14, which is not far off.
Right.
And the reality is that
Same old.
a lot of the women that were hanging out with these assholes were 14 and 15. And if you look at the lyrics of that era, it's all this glorification of these young teen girls. And no one ever questioned it. No one ever goes,
never.
What were those assholes doing?
Right.
Who are they talking about here?
There's a great guy on
they were-
TikTok who does this thing where he listens to the music, listens to the lyrics. And the whole thing is, I've never really listened to the lyrics of what these guys are saying. And he's just shocked all over the place. Like, what?
Yes,
She was just
that's
17.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That was old for those guys, too. Yeah, you know what I mean? She was too old for me. That's what I mean.
Unreal.
Terrible.
Insane. But she was also she was married to him, and then she ended up marrying somebody else, and then she was passed around the. I mean, she didn't stick with the guy, thank God. But it's just interesting to see the history of the military industrial situation and all these people that were affiliated with the CIA and how nobody ever got arrested for the crimes they did. They'd get arrested, they'd get thrown in jail, they'd get out. Peter Tork was one of them. He was in the Monkees. He got arrested for something like, I don't know, something bad, and he got a 30-year sentence and only stayed there for a month and a half, because they were also connected with the police, with the government, and with the military. Somehow they could get a free get out of jail card based on the fact that they knew everybody in this canyon. And it just fascinates me that first of all, that I know you, Owen, and that you're able to connect to your mother, and I can get some dirt. But I wish I could have, when the first time we went off air, it was going to just really be a positive experience, and we were really getting somewhere. So whatever you took away from that conversation, I hope it was meaningful for you, and it helps you with some closure with your aunt and who was your mother,
It
and
does.
also and just also being able to connect with. But I'm sorry we have to bring you into the dark topic. I'm trying to shove it all into
it's
5 minutes, so it's really hard.
No.
Were you aware
understand.
of? Are you aware of Susan's theory about how they were all sort of connected through Sharon Tate, know her well.
Is it 6 degrees of Sharon Tate? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the question.
It could be. I think that when we think about the period of time in our country, in the years, a lot of people were military brats. There were a lot of people that were in the service.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
I think that there was a lot of those people, and a lot of them had talented children. I'm not sure that there's a connection in there, but what I can say is my mom has an FBI file. So
yeah, and I think maybe it's because of John Phillips.
No,
yeah, because he had the nefarious past, and then she was hanging around with him. I don't know.
This was before.
But
her file starts before.
Oh.
Yes, her file starts in like 1961.
Have you been able to see that?
She was in Virginia then. She was in.
Yes, I have seen. I've seen 25 pages of redacted. Yeah, and
she was in Virginia then, right? In 61.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep. They had followed her to.
What was the concern in Virginia, except that she was related to somebody in the military?
They were beatniks.
They were playing clubs.
Got it.
They were playing in the clubs, and the clubs were owned by the mob, most of them. I listened to that part of the video.
Yeah, well, I have in a book that was written about my mom many years ago. This guy did get the FBI file, and he printed it in the book, so I've seen it.
The beat thing is a piece that's often left out of this evolution of this history, but that's interesting that the beatniks got on the radar early.
Yes, yes, they
were
did.
the entertainment, but the people that owned the
marijuana.
clubs were all mobsters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got in trouble for that too.
And they were smoking marijuana, and they were early to the anti-war stuff, right?
Well, and they might have been doing a little,
and that's what they were, and that's what they were looking
too,
for,
right? Like they were dealing drugs. There were drugs, and try a little extra money by selling, LSD and pot. That would get you an
a lot of
FBI
them were military, and a lot of them, came from, that part of the country,
They did.
Yeah. My theory is that it's a rebellion against Dad. Dad was a harsh military guy.
Oh, yeah.
And this was an opportunity to push back on that. And then the anti-war sort of spilled into what they were feeling. And now it's on.
Right. Well, I think certainly with John Phillips, I would say that's probably right. I mean, in my mom's case, her dad had died, and, it was different for her.
Mm.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, how they followed their dreams, and they all kind of came together and built musical careers together. But it's just funny how it all ended up in Laurel Canyon. So it was a machine. There was a business being run. Everybody was making money. There were people behind the scenes. There also was a mob influence that I, saw in it. There was all these people were running around nefariously doing crazy stuff and pedophilia and having sex with babies and weird shit, like.
Did you know the Palacases?
Vito Palacas.
No.
And Godo.
And their kids, Freakish McGeekish.
Yeah.
What?
Did you ever meet Freakish McGeekish?
I definitely can say I did not meet that person. Nope.
Godo was the 3-year-old child that crashed through the skylight and went to the hospital and died. And they went out dancing with Pamela Des Barres that night.
I mean,
I'm wanting her on the show because I really.
You can't forget the other child named Groovy Nipples, spelled Gruvi.
Groovy Nipples. That was
How did
Vito
they get that
Palacas'
past
son. No, they were all hip. They were like a Manson cult
They were the model for the Manson cult.
They actually lived in the log cabin where Zappa lived. Mm-hmm. They had their commune there, and they were in Laurel Canyon doing the same shit with all the kids and peace, love, and rock and roll.
And children were just little sexual beings. Your job as an adult is expose them to the sexuality to bring them into their
he had
sexual
a troupe
being.
called the Freak Dancers or something like that, and they brought them into this commune,
But I
and
think
they would just
thought
live.
they were doing us a favor. I do.
Yes.
But
I think they really did. And that's one of the
did.
things. I mean, not to tie back to my mom. Well, of course, what else? But one of the things that I had to come to terms with when I was doing research and learning about her in the years after she died was that she had, readily taken LSD during her pregnancy with me.
Yeah.
She had. She told Rolling Stone all about it.
Yeah.
And I was really mad I'm like, how could she do that? What was she thinking? And then when I really stopped and thought about it, I realized I think she thought she was like opening my mind or broadening my,
Yes.
that's what they thought they were doing. They didn't know any better.
But they didn't know any better, but let's not, I don't want to say let them off the hook, but let's not.
The drug addiction problem.
Right. Let's not diminish the fact that this was, massive
it was not a good
pathologies
decision.
were just they were massively endorsed all at once.
Yeah, but that was the mindset. It was being fed to you that it's okay. You're,
not okay. You're evolved when you do this.
Yes.
Is the way to go. This
You're
is
doing her a
the
favor.
truth. Yeah, that's right.
But they also
you
were
hear people
smoking
say,
cigarettes,
now
too.
we figured it out. You're right. Whenever you hear people say, now we figured it out, now we understand, run the other way. It is just going to be a disaster.
No, there's so much more to talk about in this, but we listening to all these stories, even dating back to 2013, that place is haunted over there. So if you live there, just hang on to your hat. I think that we've taken up enough of Owen's time, and I do want to have you come back if we do need to tap into this again. But I'll give it another couple of years though, because I think I've really read enough about this. Like I said, I need to take a shower.
And plus, we don't want to piss that guy off anymore.
Yes,
I know.
We're done with him.
I learned about David Crosby. I learned about Frank Zappa. I learned about Stephen Stills, John Phillips, Cass Elliot, Danny Doherty, Michelle Phillips, Peter Tork, and Michael Nesbitt, and Mickey Dolenz. All these people I've been listening to their history and I do see that there is a lot of money that came into their lives. I'm sure that some of it was siphoned to the parents or the businesses that ran it. They were protected by the law. They were complete animals. Oh, Van Morrison and Davy Jones. I didn't even talk about the people who murdered them and those people and where they came from and what their connection was. So I want to thank George Webb for his phenomenal journalism. I want to do another show. I want to have him on the show. The guy who wrote the book I'm mad at because he called my husband's show the most, what was it? What did the guy say about your show? They did the life, he did the life.
Just very pejorative.
Yeah, the life of Mackenzie Phillips. And they talk about how the most dreadful show in the history of television was that show that she was on was Celebrity Rehab. And I said, and Drew's listening to this, I'm like, I liked this guy yesterday, okay? I'm not really happy with him today.
Now not so much.
But anyways, he doesn't. I was like, it's almost like Manson knew we were going to watch it. So anyways, I just want to thank everybody for entertaining me today, and Caleb for bringing the show back on twice on air. I hope we don't have to go through this on Ask Dr. Drew today, which will be airing in about 40 minutes. We have an Ask Dr. Drew. Who's our guest?
The guy that was swatted.
Okay,
Sean
we have a
Frosh
guy who
and Viva Frei.
was swatted.
Oh, Viva's coming in
Because
too.
he said some shit about Trump or something.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's coming on at 2:00 with Viva Frei. Eddie Connor is my man. You can find him at eddieconnor.com. If you want a psychic reading or numerology and you want to know a little bit more about your inner soul, he can work with you. Melissa Kubias is available too, but she books like 17 months out. So get in line. And we want to thank Robin for putting this all together. I'm glad that you're alive. And Owen Elliot, you can find at Owen Elliot 1967. She's on Instagram. If you want to reach out, you want to get her book, head on over. You can get it on Audible too. I listen to it on Audible because I don't have a lot of time to read. But my Mama Cass, and I want to thank Mama
And if you
Cass
listen
for
to it on
popping in
Audible,
because
I'll read it to you. So there you go.
yeah, it's in her voice. It's really good, and I enjoyed it. And then thank you, Drew, for joining us to chime in on the psychological end of these people. I want to put this to bed, and I want to make all these people rest in peace and go with God. And even you, Charlie, if you're up there, just don't fuck up my husband's show today. So we appreciate your time, and I want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday to Eddie and Robin. Here, Caleb, go to the wide thing here. I have a cake. I'm lighting the candle.
Oh.
Look at that.
We have two completely different kinds of Aries.
Happy birthday.
It's Eddie. I don't know if this will light
Thank
this,
you.
but
Oh, that's so funny.
Wow.
it's a weird lighter. Yeah, do you have a lighter? Pull out your...
So we need to
Oh, I got
sage the whole all the
Yes.
production equipment
Right.
and
I was gonna-
everything.
For sure.
I was going to do it, but I was afraid. Anyways, happy birthday, you guys.
Happy
I have
birthday.
two
Bye,
cakes
you
here, but-
guys.
Hi,
Yeah,
thank
God
you.
bless. And hopefully we're all going to cleanse our soul of this topic, and I can move on to the next one next time. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you're on the third feed, I really appreciate it. I didn't really have a chance to look at your comments because I'm just too stressed out trying to cram a bunch of stuff in here in 20 minutes. But thank you everybody on Rumble and on YouTube. And what kind of cake? We have two cakes. We have a red velvet and the big one, and we also have a Porto's leche cake. So from the amazing place. And thank you. TJ says happy birthday. And anyways, we'll see you next time. We'll be back next week. And hopefully you will too. And we'll have internet.